was smacking my head against the cement wall because I'm like, come on, help me, help me, help me, help me. And it was like nobody would like help. I mean, there are people out there that, yes, talked to Travell and said, you know, Travell, you got to get it together. You got to get your life together. But then there were the other people that just wanted to be like, come on, we got to go do a show. We got to go here. We got to go there. Right. That's not really what Travell needed.
Growing up in the hood, understood my life, trying to tell me, Travell, we got to fly right in order to soar, realizing more and more, just tight with them.
When did the drugs actually start? I mean, when did it become obvious that something was wrong, that there was a problem?
Wow. I just noticed things like him getting stuck in one spot and just standing still and just like not moving, and then just like, you know how you just snap your fingers, like what's going on, you're daydreaming about something. So it wasn't a real problem, I would say, until maybe after his grandmother passed away. Okay. There were plenty of rehabs that I put him in. Just like if he was outside on the street, I would take him there. I'd be like, come on, you know, check yourself in. He would go in. But those places, they don't like keep you. They can't hold you against your will. They can't like make you be clean. And no matter what I was doing, I couldn't make him, you know, say like, okay, I've had enough with the drugs. He wasn't doing that.
Right. So, you know, I know in the email you mentioned that there were some enablers.
Yes.
Who were these enablers? Did they refer to people who were in the music business? Were they artists? Were they friends?
I'm saying people that would say they are friends. Like even now, it's like you say you're a friend, and everyone was when this first happened. Everyone called me. Oh, you know, my prayers are with you. Blah blah blah. What we need to do is get out in the street and start selling out his music and do this and do that. And at the time, emotionally, I couldn't hear that. I was still in. Well, I get upset. I was still in my room crying about what am I supposed to do about my husband? Because even though we were separated, if it wasn't for the drugs, we would still be together. So it's like it was like you guys call, you know, you call Travell. He would come out any time of night to go ahead and you know, rap on your thing, on your music, and then nobody's put money in his commissary. Nobody's around for that. I mean, me and his family had to. You know, we're scraping together the money to pay for the lawyer and doing everything we have to do for Travell. But where are those people now? Where are you to even say like, oh, let me just put $10 in Travell's commissary? Because you know what, Travell looked out for me when he was on my song or something. But no, everybody's in it for about them. And I know everyone has to feed their children. I know everyone's got a family. They have things that they have to do. But I mean, really, when you wanted him on your song, he was there, and I felt like he was used.
Didn't the label know? Didn't Puff know? Didn't anybody?
Yes. They knew, and I know I wasn't there for the meeting. I just knew about the meeting that Puff sat Travell. They all had a meeting with Travell, the manager, and Puff, and they said, you know, your use is becoming a problem. And Travell, what he told me he did was he was like, well, you could have G-Dep, I'll always be Travell. So at that point, you know, he was just like, still the drugs had a hold of him, and the drug use is a disease, so you couldn't see past that. The interview that you did, it was just like, it was the drugs. I was like, well, where was the music? Right. Where was what he's doing now? What he plans to do in the future? Where was that? And it was bittersweet because I was just like, all right. As I kept listening, I'm like, wow, he's still talking about it. You know, Travell would have been like, you know, come on with that. That's my Travell impersonation. Right. Come on with that, you know, talk about the music. So that's what he would have done. And he wasn't doing that. He still kept answering the questions. Right. I was like, oh, wow. I couldn't believe he kept going. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe this is a step. Maybe this is like he's had enough. Because he seemed to really be open to talk about it. I mean, we talked about a lot of other things. Obviously, you know, it was a full radio show, and we kind of, you know, brought it down to a clip so people could kind of see what was the meat of it. You know, that he was going through some things. He still wanted to be in the midst of the music. You know, he wanted to
participate as an artist, freestyle, and do everything that, you know, the clip brought to life. But there were some major issues that needed to be presented and talked about. And I think that, you know, it was very man of him to kind of be open to have this conversation. Not a lot of artists would. So having an inkling that something was going on, you still decided, I love him, I'm going to marry him, I know there's some problems, but we'll work through it. Was that the thought process?
Travell would have his good moments. He'd have his bad moments. I mean, we would, when we had children, there would be times where I'd say, look, you know, we got to take our vacation time, we're going to go to Disney World or something. And I'm like, if you're using anything, you know, I'm just going to take the kids by myself. And Travell would stay clean to make sure that we are all going as a group and as a family and enjoying the time together.
Your son's been processing what's been going on. I mean, what do you say to them? Have they talked to Dep? I mean, what is that like right now?
Yes, they've talked to their father. They talk to him every day. And,
okay.
And I took them to go see him too, so they were really happy to see their daddy. They've been saving up their money. My son, the youngest of the twins, said that I'm saving up my money so I can get daddy out.
Oh, how old are they, by the way?
7.
7 years old. Wow.
Yeah. One, I think they're very artistic children. They both draw, and it's funny because Travell, the youngest of the twins, he also has written 4 songs.
Oh wow.
So they're very artistic, and the Tyler, who draws a lot, he draws pictures of daddy behind bars, which was hard for me to see at first.
Right.
It was just like, wow. But Travell is taking it the hardest. He's more like the tough twin, and he's just like, sometimes he'll just want to like lay down next to me and just like ask about daddy. Like, when is daddy gonna come home? Is daddy gonna be better? They never say. I mean, when Travell would see them and he was high, he would come over to the house and want to see the boys after we had separated, and he'd come and they'd notice, but they didn't know what it was. So I keep saying Travell, I'll say Dep.
It's okay.
So Travell would say, "What, Daddy, you're so slow," because that's his movement. After he was high, everything was slow. So when I told Dep that, he was like, "Oh, he knows, he knows what's going on." So now they were like on some level having the communication. Like now his sons, fully understand something is not right here. So that was like, it's not a conversation that I've had with them, like daddy's been using drugs or anything. You have the normal parent conversations, like, the don't do drugs.
Right. If things don't turn out the way that we hope, will there be, have you wrapped your mind around what that conversation is going to be like with them?
No, because I pray on this every day, and the boys, like when this whole thing first happened and they saw that, like, I was like really upset, they would like get on their knees with me and start praying. Like, I didn't tell them to do it, but they would just get on their knees and start praying for their father. So as they get older, yes, well, I'll have to go in depth, but I've been praying so much that God's gonna find a way, so it won't be a long time.
Right. Let's say the situation does open up where he doesn't have to serve time. Do you feel now, through this particular situation, what has already happened, that coming out, he still can be sober? He still can be able to resist the temptation of the drugs that have been present in his life for so far?
Travell and I have talked about that, and it's like he's talking to him. He's a different person. He's locked up, but he's free. So he's a different person now than what he was before. And if he does time, hopefully it's the minimum amount of time that he has to do. And he's been writing while he's in there, so I think it's a new person that will come out. Travell and I, even when I go visit him, it's like before our hug and kiss, we do say a prayer together. So I'm gonna have to go through that because that's the commitment I made to my husband. I mean, we were separated because I couldn't do it anymore with the drugs and the effect. I didn't want it to be on my children also. but that's still, like, at the end of the day, it's my husband.
Right.
It's a powerful drug. So no matter what he said or what he's confessed to, I'm still like, I doubt, because the person that I know, and I mean, just Trevel's such a kind person. He's not a punk, but he's a kind person.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to be sure that this is not an effect of the PCP.
Right.
This song is dedicated to all my people in the hood. That's right. I see you, baby. You know it. We here now.
Growing up in the hood, understood my life, trying to tell me, Trevel, we got to fly right in order to soar. Realizing more and more, just tight with a bike up in the corridor. Head out into bed out, thinking I had a clever scheme, but still you was never screaming, get out. Doing what I like till them nights been out. Up in the room, you assume till them lights went out. When them things damn near hit me, air nippy. Now I'm hoping that you're there with me, bear with me. Fair wind. A fella was ailing, hard from the start, God nowhere.